Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to Going Medieval. I should have seen it coming, I suppose. It does seem that there was enough interest for us to revisit the game for at least one more episode. And indeed, if this trend continues, if once you've finished the episode, you decide you liked what you saw and you want to see more, then do let me know down in the comments or with a like on the video, and we probably will see this become a fully fledged series. Now then, how shall we progress from this point? Okay, so there was a couple of comments that I want to address early on. First and foremost, one person in particular noted that we have different thermal insulation on the roofs. Now, by and large, this is something quite worth looking at, especially once you start to get to real tiles made with clay and stone. The difference in the thermal insulation, wicker and thatch have the same, whereas wooden tiles actually has a little bit less. So you might actually want to go with thatch over your living spaces and something like wooden tiles over your work spaces, or at least your storages. That's a very, very good observation. Right now, it's not really going to make much difference because we have got fairly chonky heating sources in the rooms, but that is definitely something to bear in mind. The second comment that I wanted to address, and it actually brought up by a couple of people, they would really have liked to have seen a little bit of raiding or a bit of combat. So to that end, let's have a quick look around and see if we can't find ourselves some food that happens to be walking. Yes, okay, you two. In fact, we're going to do this manually so that we can control it a little bit more. Let me just set up some production. Do until we have 10. Sure, you know what? Make 10 meals if you can. We still don't have a roof over here, though, and perhaps I should have a quick look at if I can set that up before we get too far along, and we'll use thatch this time. No, sadly, it still doesn't allow it. Well, that is a bit of a potch. I'm not going to lie. That is a little bit of a potch. All right, well, I guess then I'm going to have to bite the bullet and just make this a square building. That being said, there is one alternative, and that would be... we could... yeah, actually, we're going to undergo a little bit more of a focused rebuild over here, then. Don't mind me. It's going to just take a little bit of time, but it'll be worth it in the end, I promise. Right now, since this doesn't really constitute a room, it doesn't matter if I pull these walls down. We will take these down as well. We're going to make this more of a square building, but I'm going to shunt these to the sides. That will also give me an opportunity to replace the roofs. So it's almost like I planned it, really. I absolutely did not. But we will go with that excuse for now. So that'll give you a little bit of work to do. Dr. Lady Terra, let's see if I can't find something to hunt. Could I get both you two to hunt, please? Can I have you both hunting? Russell is going for the hunt. Dr. Lady Terra is sticking back. Now, sometimes you can get a group of people to go and hunt the same thing. There we go. Both of you are going to hunt. Excellent. It's going to go a lot faster if we've got two people doing it, because initially they're not going to be very good at it, I'm sad to say. We also definitely want some more food, so let's mark a couple more things to be gathered. Oh, there we are. I was just a little bit too far away to see that they were properly set up for gathering. Let's make sure that we're bringing in a decent amount of food, shall we? Right, let's follow you two over to this deer. We need the food. Dr. Lady Terra has decided they were hungry. Well, I mean, this was going to solve that, but okay, I suppose. Now, there isn't any kind of like detailed damage list there, but I have occasionally seen little icons floating up above their head just to indicate that there was maybe like a broken leg, that sort of thing. Mostly on enemies. I've not actually seen that on deer. So I'm not sure if it actually ever applies to animals, but I know it definitely applies to enemies. You just don't have a detailed view of their health concerns. And I guess that makes sense. You shouldn't have a detailed view of your enemies. That being said, some things are a little bit obvious. You know, if they've lost an arm, you can generally tell they've lost an arm, even if you're not them, by the lack of an arm and the spurt of blood just gouting out from the stump. Nevertheless, this game doesn't seem to give you that level of detailed information about people that aren't your colonists, so something to be aware of there. Right, as soon as Bilal has got this in place, we are going to have to do a little bit of rebuilding. We'll actually need another wall there, and this one... Oh, I pulled that one down. That was silly of me. We actually want that one to stay, because I'm going to be shunting this to the side. In fact, I may want to move it a little bit more. We may well change these. In fact, I think we're going to. I'll only change one at a time to avoid taking away all of the sources of recreation that the colonists have, because that could turn quite nasty. Well, I mean, they probably can have mood spirals, but so far I haven't actually seen them. So hopefully it takes a lot more to get them to that point. Now, we are going to need a dumping zone. Let's go for, yeah, sure, just a regular dumping zone. Where should we dump things, though? We just want them to decompose out and about, so I guess we could pop a little bit of something over here, maybe. Let's just set that up. I don't want any carcasses in there. That being said, I do want animal bones. Animals seem to be the only ones that have bones. Humans are invertebrates in this world. Who knew? Who knew that humanity evolved so far from medieval England times when all humans had no bones? We just we kept the human shape, but that was just a testament to our incredible muscular strength, because that's the only thing holding us in this two-armed, two-legged form. Otherwise, we'd just be a sad blob just kind of sloshing around on the floor. But at some point, just sometime after the plague, we decided, no, you know what? It would be really good if we didn't have to spend all our time flexing to stay together. Let's get some bones. And then we did. True facts. Right, so we are going to pop you in there. It's going to make this place a little bit more of a tight squeeze, but I think it should be okay. I will wait for that to be built, though, again, before I tear this one down and do exactly the same. But once all of that's done, we should be good to build things up across here. And in fact, let's actually mark down a thatch roof. Trogdor will be pleased. Let's pop you there. All right, okay then, peeps. Let's snap to it. I'll give you a little bit more time as well. How are we doing for food right now? We've got 3 meals. That's not great. Is that all of the food we have, really? That's actually kind of a problem then. You're hauling food across, which is good to see, but clearly I need to give you a little bit more priority on hauling items. That being said, Russell, once you've got this this roof in place, then it shouldn't be too much more for you to do. So you might start just, there we go, perfect. Well done, Russell. You're doing some very important work right now, and also shifting off the ashes there as well. Now, to get a great haul, that's going to take us some time. That building has quite a large set of requirements to it. It's kind of like, how should I put it? It's sort of like oxygen not included, in that you don't really need them to be rooms. It's nice, and it gives a bonus, but you don't have a negative for them to using the stations in a room that doesn't count. Oops, sorry about that. My phone alarm going off there, just to let me know that I should be expecting a delivery any moment. So I shall have to keep my eye out. Hopefully we can bring these in, though. Once you're done with that, could you actually prioritize bringing these in? Well, actually, okay, you can do that first then. But I do want these in because they will start going off. Could you also haul there? I know you're exhausted. It sucks, but we've got a lot of food just on the floor. And we are not in a position where we can just ignore that. We've also got a carcass there. So I probably should set this one up to... with the carcasses... Well, actually, let's have a look. It is going to rot in 19 days. You know what? I think we might just leave it as a carcass for now. I don't think this game actually treats it like that. Realistically, it's just a body on the ground. This is not the way you'd keep a carcass. But you wouldn't necessarily want to immediately start cutting the chunks of meat off. You can actually leave things in its skin. It does a good job. The skin is there for a reason. It's kind of like fruit. You take the skin off the fruit inside is going to rot a lot faster because that skin was protecting it, mostly from oxygen. But with animals, they've got other stuff inside you kind of need to remove. Otherwise, that's just going to spoil the meat from the inside. Let's assume that they have gutted it and prepared the carcass properly, and now they've just, I don't know, just left it on the floor. That is never the way you prepare a carcass properly, but we'll assume that they know what they're doing. They don't, but... we'll just assume that they do. In this world, along with humans not having bones, you actually just leave the carcasses on the floor, and that is the best way to preserve the meat inside. True facts. Though I'm starting to see now why there was a plague. Right, okay, so once you guys are up and about, Russell should... well, actually, what is your schedule, Russell? What is the hour of the day? It's 6 a.m., so Russell's just having a bit of a leisurely wander around. It looks like Russell's actually... Oh, no, there we are. We're going to go and play a little bit game. We're going to play a bit of game of backgammon against Lady Tara. Okay, well, I hope you both enjoy. There we go. Lady Tara has just started their recreation. Belial, however, is off and about and hopefully preparing food. Excellent, Belial. Let's continue to bring that food in. Now, I'm going to avoid giving them too many things to do right now because I would really like to see the food starting to pile up. Russell, can you bring that in? Oh, thank you. That is quite an important one to move. You're going to shift the ash as well. Dr. Lady Tara having a moment to speak with her deity. As for everything over here, yeah, this does actually need to be brought in as a bit of a priority. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to temporarily bump this up to 1s. We'll bring them all back down to 3s in a moment, but I really want this, all of the food brought in, because it's raining now. It is going to spoil super fast, and we've got so much food out here. It is going to spoil in a day. So please get that sorted. There we go. Let's get everything in. What, really? Okay, Belial has decided to chop up the carcass and make even more hauling jobs, but fine. I refuse to micromanage them to the point that I could. And this is true of RimWorld, it's true of Oxygen Included, it's true of any colony game. I like to let the AI make mistakes. That's pretty much the long and short of it. I like to actually see what they'll prioritize and let them suffer the consequences of it. Though really, it's me suffering it in most cases. But there we go. We've got the majority of the food brought in. So Belial is going to have a lot of materials now to work with. The bones need to go elsewhere. The leather can be brought in, and we'll eventually be able to work with that. But we now have 12 of 10 piles of food, and that will rot in about 4 days based on the temperature, as will the meat there. The mushrooms will rot in 3 days, and the berries will keep for a while longer, so that's actually not too bad. All right, well, let's start getting, until we have, let's have a look. We want to get to the point where we can grow our own crops. That's going to be quite important for us. Also, it would be quite nice to start getting some better defensive structures as well, though some of them we're not going to get there for a little while, and we'll need things like smelting. So I'm going to say, sure, let's go for 30 until we have 30. There we are. Someone should be producing books until that time. Now, we can, of course, set this up a little bit more, but right now this is working enough for us. But I think we've brought in the majority of the items we needed. Oh, there we go. Lost property. Appearing deranged at first, Gunlid was simply overcome with terror. A pitiful stumbling corpse with wheals from binding and harsh beatings by a cruel master. Gunlid begged, "Hide me. I'll die if I'm caught." The settlers slammed the door shut, leaving Gunlid outside. Some settlers might get a negative mood modifier. Or Woven Tale's inhabitants decided to help her. It tells us exactly who Gunlid is and exactly what they're capable of, so you can make an informed choice. Gunlid is 52, weighs 100 kilos, is 174 centimeters tall, is a little bit of a... I think the left is Oak Brethren, I believe. Now, unfortunately, we can't keep this up, so I can't mouse over these perks, so until you learn them, it's not that useful. But we will face 3 forest bandits. Exactly 3, no more, no less. Of course, we're going to take Gunlid. We're not going to leave Gunlid out there. Settler's wounds needs tending. Okay, well, let's have a quick look at Gunlid. And indeed, one of the first things that we need to know about you, Gunlid, is your true name. Everyone welcome Manu to the colony. Thank you very much for your patron support, Manu. Okay, well, let's have a quick look at your perks. Your brawny, Manu, is powerful and carries out tough jobs effortlessly. You're industrious. Manu is certainly a busy bee, buzzing around, getting things done from dawn till dusk. She never seems to rest. Global work speed +10, that's very nice. And dainty. Manu needs the finer things in life to thrive. She struggles to cope with little things like dirt, cold, and hardship. Oh. Yeah. It's going to be a rough time for you, not going to lie. Okay, well, let's have a look at your jobs then. You're actually not bad at medicine. But once again, I'm going to save you the time of having to watch me puzzle over how to set this up with a nice, clean edit. And there we go. Manu is going to be our chief researcher, since they actually have a passion for it. Though their intellectual skill is low right now, that will get nice and high. Otherwise, you're going to mostly focus on crafting and hauling, actually, when there's not researching to be done. Though, thankfully for you, there will almost always be researching to be done. But this does mean we now need a new bed. So let's take care of that first and foremost. Let's pop this right around there. You can sleep right next to the brazier. And let's turn the rooms back off so that we haven't got that overlay there. Now, you're going to need to get in here nice and quickly and hopefully get some rest. Though, I'm not sure if the enemies are going to come from the same direction. I really don't know about that. But perhaps a couple of traps around the colony wouldn't be a bad move either way. And in fact, to that end, let's go ahead and actually start building up our defenses. First, we'll build a simple wall around here. On this side, we could actually build the wall into the colony if we really wanted to. I could, for example, just have the wall connect over here. As long as there isn't a ramp up to this building, then that shouldn't be a problem. Now, they might be able to destroy our buildings, and I kind of like the idea of being able to walk around them and having a little bit more room to expand out our domain. But for the time being, for the sake of safety, we'll just use this as a natural barrier, and then we'll build a little wall down here as well. We'll have another double door right there. This will cut down the amount of building that we need to do to have a safe, to enclose the keep, as it were. Now, we've got quite a lot of wood chopping already queued up, but we'll add a little bit more as well, because we are going to need it. Now then, how are you doing, Manu? Have you been healed? It does look like you have been. Yes, you've got a dislocated shoulder and a bruised chest. Okay, movement speed down -10, evade chance -20. And what about the dislocated shoulder? -10%. But these will expire fairly quickly thanks to the treatment that you've already had. Well done, peeps. Very well done. However, the only weapon that I have to offer you, sad to say, is going to be in there. Now, you have actually got some winter clothes. I'm going to tell you to drop it simply because I want you to pick it back up. But I don't want it to be a forced item. As for weapons, I'm just going to let you pick up any weapon at all. And to be fair, you can grab whatever weapon is available. We'll tailor that a little bit more later. Right now, you'll use the. Let me mark that so that you can grab it. There we go. That's perfect. It does. It is a little bit of a shame that whenever you take something off, whenever you just tell someone to not force wear something, they immediately forbid it, because that actually kind of gets in the way more than it helps. But still, it'll work for now. Let's just cut this shrub, and we should. I mean, it's just going to be a packed dirt floor for now, but that's still a bit better than other options. Now, are there other ways up over here? There are. Let's go ahead and remove that ramp then. Are there any other ways up there? It doesn't look like there are, actually. So the only way up onto this little area here will be this ramp once this is removed. That will actually be quite useful to us. That will be very, very useful to us. If we can get all of this built and the enemies do come from this direction, we've only got 17 hours to do it in, though, so we might need to move on that. Let me have a quick look. Who is the best miner we've got? Russell or Manu, actually? Okay, Manu. Right now you're having a nice snooze, and I'm very glad for that. Truly I am. But well, actually, you know what? I'm going to give you a little bit more of a snooze. I was going to take away a little bit more time here, but actually I'm going to give it to you instead. There you go. Can't say fairer than that. This way you will have a little bit of time to sleep off just arriving. Because if I'd reduced the sleep on Manu's schedule, they would have had less sleep than they needed this first night. And honestly, I would like it if you could just heal up from your wounds, honestly. 4 hours on the bruised chest and another 10 hours on the dislocated shoulder. At this point, Manu, how rested are you? Let's have a quick look. It looks like you're generally doing okay. Yeah, sleep is fine. Could I get you out there and prioritize removing that? I know you want to eat, but I really need the defenses set up. I'm not sure we're going to get them all done in time, but Manu should be able to take this out fairly quickly. There we are. Let's continue with the work, bringing in all of the wood that we can and getting this as defended as we possibly can make it. Our archers are still going to be able to get up here, even if we don't have all of this set up. And the enemies are probably going to try and make a move for our archers over anything else. So that will be the best way of doing that. Now, another thing we can do is we can lay down some traps. Traps in the game, as far as I've seen, do not affect your own people. Only enemies. Because your people know to step around them. That said, I think it could easily be a case that I just haven't observed it. So I would not recommend you take my word that they don't trigger on your own people. It might also be that some traps have an AoE and that it can still catch your own people in it, even if they're not the ones to directly trigger it. Just things to be aware of, and that there's not enough data yet to form a certain opinion on the way the traps work. But it does offer us a couple of options in that regard that aren't there for games like RimWorld, where you do have to be aware that your own people can and will set off traps. All right, we've got another 7 hours before the enemies arrive. Let's speed things up. It looks like we're going to get both a raid and some hunting action in this episode. I'm quite glad. There we go. If we can finish all of this off... Oh, that's wonderful. You're actually putting down the spikes as well. Well done. We might even have this side completely sealed off. Now, it depends on where the enemy come from. There's no guarantee they're going to come from the same direction that Manu did. That's certainly the case with RimWorld. You can typically assume that that's gonna be how it plays out, but that isn't to say it's going to be the case here. What we will do, though, to try and help out, is we'll pop down a couple more traps around here. Now, the thing with traps, again, you don't necessarily need to worry about triggering them. So try to surround things, but you can't place them on the top of a ramp. So you need to put it around the ramp, because the enemy can step off that ramp diagonally. They don't only move orthogonally. So they may actually bypass a trap if you don't properly surround it. As for everything else, I mean, we've got plenty of sticks to set up traps. Perhaps we should pop a couple down to the other points of approach. I think that might be a good idea. Let's just get these down, just to make sure that the obvious approaches to our camp are a little bit more dangerous for the enemy to try. I would like to have this sealed off over here, though. Is there a way? That actually might not be a bad idea, actually. All right, well, let's pop down another couple of walls. Let's see. If we have a gate there, then we can seal up along that side. And that will give us a decent little spot, though. Honestly, having all of this land as our camp, I don't know, that worries me a little bit, having that much area to take care of, but we'll see how it goes. We've got 1 hour and 42 minutes before the enemies show up, and I think we're about as well defended as we're going to get, realistically speaking. How are we doing with research-wise? We are actually up to 11. I think we only need 15 for agriculture. We can start building our own farms, which will actually be quite marvelous. I've still got to move these rooms around, but the pressing raid is a little bit more of a concern right now. How are we doing for food? We've got 7 meals and 98 raw components. 17 mushrooms. Oh, here we are. Violent extortionist. Lost property. The brute spoke, soft but menacing. Man who belongs to me. Hand over my slave, or you will all suffer. They were deadly serious. Woven Tails, the fine tattlers, refused to bow to the assailants' demands. We will have a fight. Oh, they're going to be 4 forest bandits now. Well, you lied to me before. Your settlers will gain a positive mood modifier for helping someone in need. Or Woven Tails surrendered Manu back to those hunting her. So you get a chance to make another choice if you suddenly realize, oh, I've made a terrible mistake. That's kind of a nice thing. But you will suffer a mood penalty if you do that. And I can only imagine this would be a worse penalty, because at this point Manu's had an opportunity to integrate into the colony. But I love the way that this is written like a story, instead of just a raid is here or whatever. It's like Woven Tails, defiant settlers refused to bow to the assailants' demands. I like that. You stood your ground, refusing to give in to their demands. And in fact, I think this is reflected in the history of the colony as well. Draft. Okay, well, we'll take care of that in just a moment. Where are you starting from? You came from a completely different direction. Okay, well, that's a bit of a potch. All right, let's have a look at how you're going to approach us. You are probably just going to walk straight along here. to a ramp. Or you might go down there and come around, or you might go down there and come around. Either way, you're going to have to approach and then move up a ramp to get to us. So we have a little bit of time, actually. Okay. Okay, we can do this. Dr. Lady Terra, Russell, I need you both drafted right now. I need you to stand guard right here. Now, it's possible they're going to come up around behind us, which will be a podge. Oh, actually, are they moving into attack yet? And what kind of weapons do they have for that matter? I see spears. I don't see what you've got. You've got a sword, pole arms. Yeah, quite 3 pole arms and a sword. All right. Well, that's something that we're going to be able to deal with, I'm sure. But let's try and continue to build up our defenses where we can. Get some more traps down as well outside the gate. There and there. I mean, this is the simplest of traps. Another nice feature is that traps can be reset. Even these traps. In fact, something actually already set. I wonder if did one of our settlers get hit by a trap? Let's have a look. It may have been an animal. You can make trap fences in this. Yeah, actually all of our settlers are fine. So probably what happened is a deer or a wolf went over it. It looks like it may have been the wolf, actually. Okay. We may set up some traps hither and yon to try and deal with enemies as they approach, but also with the odd animal that moves past. Now, what kind of range have you got on these bows? These are both short bows, I believe. Let's have a quick gander. Oh no, you've got a long bow. You've got a bit of a longer range, but not by much. Okay, where are you going? Are you going to go around this side? You're going to come straight across. Depends on which direction. No, you're coming this way. Okay. Alright then. Russell, Dr. Lady Terra. Ooh, doing some nasty damage there. Edward is already in deep trouble. Okay, you will be surrounded shortly. So I'm going to have you retreat. Make your way up here. If you could, please. Go. No, come on. Go. I appreciate your desire to stop and fight, but no. Alright, Belial, need you down here. Unfortunately, they stopped a little longer than I would have liked. Manu, I mean, it's only fair that you join in the defense since they're here for you. Dr. Lady Terra, right, let's get down here. Let's try and lure them over some traps. That's right. Get down there. Perfect. There's Belial. Alright, let's group over here. Let's see if this will catch a couple of them. Yes, it did. Perfect. Stay down here. Let them run. And straight up. Go. Excellent. And Stephen is going over those same traps. Now let's get back over here. All of you. Go. Move quickly. Don't stop to attack anyone. You're very slow from the trap you've already taken. Now the problem is they may actually start looting my stuff, which I wouldn't like, especially if they took the books. Nevertheless, this is what we've got. Right, I'm going to have Belial and Manu stand here. Manu behind Belial, please. Belial does have a shield. Right, you two are not going to need to go as far, so let's get you right back there. There we go. And fire. Excellent hit there. And Russell's marksmanship has gone up. Godwin is... Well, we can't see much about Godwin right now other than they are hurt. And again, please. Okay. And Oswald, already 2 traps and Belial. Manu, I need you to attack Stavin. Belial also need you to attack Stavin. Don't let... Oh, too late. They have already engaged. Oh, good. All right. That's right. They've... Oh, no. Russell... Draw back. You are an archer, not a melee fighter. That being said, perhaps shooting into combat isn't the best. So if you two could aim for Edward, that would be ideal. Come on. Okay. Oop. There we are. Taking a heavy blow to their forces, the raiders flee. The beleaguered settlers came under attack in the spring of 1351. Their ordeal continued for 4 hours and 3 minutes. Mercifully, all settlers survived the raid. 3 sworn enemies died during the fight. Dr. Lady Terra was the bravest of the settlers, dealing the most blows to the foe. Belial took the most damage from the enemy, thinking only of defending Woven Tales in its hour of need. Belial blocked the most hits. It should be recorded. Okay, you're not getting away, I'm afraid. In actual fact, 4 enemies died in this battle. Right, okay, well, you all did fantastically well. fantastically well. We've got a load of bodies now that we need to deal with. And as you can imagine, there are a few ways of dealing with it. If you've got someone that eats people, well, they can eat them. If you don't, or you just decide that you, like most people living in medieval England, are incredibly superstitious, bury them or burn them on the pyre. Those are your options, at least right now. In terms of burial, you've got a couple of options, actually. Depending on the materials you've got an unmarked grave. As final resting places go, a humble hole in the ground is the least we can hope for. Earth to earth, ashes to ashes. Or a wooden grave marker. A wooden grave marker may not last for eternity, but serves as a memorial for those in mourning. And again, if you've got other materials like stone, clay, brick, stone brick, then you can make them out of those as well. Or a wooden sarcophagus. A wooden box to keep the deceased respectfully entombed. It does not need to be buried underground. So you can actually make a proper tomb with the sarcophagi. But bandits... The alternative is a pyre. It costs 15 wood to build the pyre, and then you need to load it with fuel. This is basically a pyre bed, and then you load it with fuel in order to deal with the corpse as need be. It takes some time for them to properly burn. So, honestly, you died in battle. We will at least give you a pyre. More than you deserve, frankly, but there we go. Actually, I think 3 is more than enough. It will mean that we can deal with 3 corpses at a time, basically. Now, we're going to have a lot of items on the ground. Some of them will be reasonably okay, but they are going to start decaying. So, once again, I'm going to pop hauling up to top priority. However... Well, actually, Bilal, you might actually go and convalesce for a little bit. You did get a little bit wounded there. Well done, by the way. You served the town admirably. Everyone heading in to pray, to thank their gods for their victory. I approve. Now, did you just eat something raw? Lacking religious activities. No, you ate a nice meal. Okay, well, that was good. A decent meal. My hunger is assuaged. I like the fact you used the word assuaged. Well done. Right, okay, so we've got a little bit of work to do, but that was as far as first engagements go, not bad at all. But I would like to control the engagement a little bit more. Have a main point of attack. Ideally, we might even get rid of these gates around the place. I mean, they're very convenient for us, but I would like to lure our enemies into a central area that we control. Perhaps have an archer tower there. That would actually be very, very nice. It would give us some added range as well. We've only got 5 meals left, some roasted meats and some regular stews, but we got lots of ingredients. So rather than gather more ingredients and potentially waste them, I think we're going to wait on that. Right then, let's see how people do. Bilal is convalescing for now. Or indeed just sleeping. Let's have a look. No, you are healing. You didn't get any specific wounds, which is very good. But it is going to take a little bit of time for you to recover from that. Now, the settlers will eventually, when they have free time beyond hauling, go and reset all of the traps. But that's going to be something that they'll have to get a free moment for. And right now, as you can see, most of our settlers are busy with hauling things in. So hopefully we can get this made reasonably soon. There doesn't seem to be any kind of prioritization command, which is a shame. That would actually be super useful. If I could, rather than specifically telling someone, oi, go do this job, I could say, when you're looking for jobs to do, consider this one a little bit higher than other jobs because it is an important one and I want to get it sorted. That would actually be quite nice. Now, let's have a look in here. We've got a flimsy savage wood mask. That one is basically falling apart. I'm going to set this up to accept apparel. Actually, warfare, yeah. Armor. If it is falling apart, as you can see, the amount of hit points this offers, extremely low. 0.54% armor rating. It is junk. And it would probably affect people's moods sufficiently. I could say anything that's flimsy goes here, but I think I'll say anything that's flimsy or sturdy, because if it's more than that, it may actually be okay. And I will set this to, if it's below 50% hit points, just pop it in there. If it's flimsy or sturdy, and lower than 50%, drop it in there. If it's better than sturdy, so it's good, then we might actually keep it a little bit longer, depending. We'll see. But I will hopefully see my colonists equip as best they can when they can. I should see a bunch of items. Oh, no, you're bringing them down here, so they must count. That being said, there's no way of prioritizing areas right now, so they will be stored here, even if it should otherwise go and be broken down. We'll see how that goes for now. Actually, some of these look all right. Influence rising. Flourishing woven tales grows more influential in the region with each day that passes. This is sure to attract more settlers and perhaps garner unwanted attention from other settlements. Now, as far as I've seen so far, there is no actual interaction yet in the game for regions, but they exist, and they do have friendly or hostile conditions, and our regional influence goes up over time based on deeds that we do. In fact, I think it explains it here. You gain influence. You must enrich the wealth amassed and resources and constructed buildings. Oh, sorry, by amassing resources and constructed buildings. And victory in battle and repelling enemy raids increases influence even faster. Reaching 100% influence means your settlement is the most influential in the region. What that will mean at some point in the game, I don't know. But we can't seem to trade, and we can't seem to instigate any kind of hostile actions against other regions yet. But I wouldn't be too surprised if that is something that is added with time. Right, okay, so all of the items have now been brought in, including the bodies. Why? I don't want human carcass. Oh, no. Well, poop. Okay, well, hopefully we can get these built reasonably soon, because we need to get rid of those now, because every time someone goes to the bloody storeroom, they're going to have to see a bunch of dead people. Okay, thank goodness we are actually getting these built rather sharpish. Not a moment too soon, I might add. Not a moment too soon. Right, I would like this to be forever, but I want it to be specifically enemy corpses. And I don't want to use wood or coal for this. You can use sticks. I like the fact that you can choose what type of fuel you use here as well. That's actually pretty cool. I really like that. So for these kinds of things, it doesn't matter. We don't necessarily want a hot enough furnace to smelt metal. So coal isn't necessary. What we want is waiting for resources. What we want is just sticks. That'll do. We don't need to use our dwindling wood resources. We've got more than enough sticks for a lot of other jobs. So let's just get bodies over there. Oh, really? I mean, okay, I don't mind that. I guess at least it's out of our storage area. Now, with that done, let's pop the jobs back down to 3 as intended and allow people to continue on about their business. We've got 2 more research jobs to do, 2 more chronicles we need before we can research agriculture. But to the end of setting up a proper defensive structure. I think maybe something down here around this area would be quite nice. We could have a wall built in and then a guard tower of sorts. And I'm thinking, let me go ahead and just plan this out. So we'd have an entry point somewhere around here, an actual gate. So just your regular 2-wide gate, something like that. And we'll pop this in like so. But I want to attack people as they approach, and also whilst they are attacking the gate. So we are going to build something along these lines. We want, yes, I think this will actually work quite well. Let's get a wooden beam. We'll have this support between these areas, like so. And we will have flooring up here and out. Up here and out. And the same over there, and the same there. This way, our archers will be able to fire down on those approaching, and perhaps the elevation will also give them a good aim in that direction, but also be able to fire inwards at anyone attacking the gate, and I think that will be perfect for us. Absolutely perfect. I may actually decide against having that there. We'll see. Let's take that away. Yeah, let's remove those ones. I don't mind having a little bit of a curve there. In fact, I think it looks quite nice. We will add in some stairs back here on either side so people can easily access this area, and then some flooring there. Though that being said, maybe I should bring the floor in a little bit. I actually like that. I like the look of having it overhang a teeny bit, but this is purely aesthetic at this point. And again, look, it's one of my Let's Plays. Purely aesthetic is reason in and of itself. In fact, we could, having done that, have the stairs like this. Oh, that actually looks quite nice. I like that a lot. In fact, I like that so much that I think I'm going to bring this in and have the enemies have to, again, the sort of design that I use in RimWorld, where enemies have to, they have less ability to stack up on the outside. What I mean by that is this door right now can be attacked from 3 tiles. This door could be attacked from 3 tiles. So in total, 4 enemies could stack up on the door and attack the doors. But by shifting the door in by 1, only 2 enemies can ever stand there. So realistically, only 2 enemies per door, or perhaps, if they're dumb, they'll split their destructive efforts between both doors. And that will work to my benefit. I like that a lot. Okay, we'll allow this to be built. It'll take them a little while. But we also need to have a think of how we're going to stack up the rest of these buildings. We will move these ones down in a little bit. First, I will set this one to be deconstructed. Let's get that out of the way, and then we're going to move the... we're going to replace that over here, like so, and then build this in. And then when we have an opportunity, I'm going to shift both of the religious rooms, I guess, in by 1 tile. And that will both make this look a little bit more of an interesting building. It'll have a more interesting shape. But it'll also fix the problem with the roof that I've kind of been hiding this whole time. That just looks ugly. Whereas if this was shifted across a little bit more, it would look much less ugly. At least to me. It would look far less ugly and far more intentional. But there we go. That'll actually be a good design there, I think. Now, we could simply draw a wall down here just to enclose this section, and then plan to expand it out as the need arises. But we do have a couple more rooms that we need. Namely, we are going to need workshops. We're also going to want kitchens. Right now, the food is taken from this surface level storage area in here. I would like a basement. And perhaps with that in mind, we could build the kitchen down there. And we could even do that underneath this building. And I think that would actually be really grand. To that end, though, we're probably going to want to put some proper flooring in here. Otherwise, when we excavate beneath it, we'll just expose the floor, which is not exactly where we want to go. And since this is going to be moving back by 1, let's plan ahead and not put flooring over there, because I'll just have to tear that up later. Well, there we are. That'll actually work quite well. How are we doing over here? You're making very good progress with this, actually. I'm reasonably impressed. Furthermore, let's go ahead and, just for the sake of it, we're going to add some wall torches out here. Maybe not there. Perhaps I'll have the wall torches on the inside here. I think that'll look very nice. There we go. Let's get all of that built. And we are going to have a nice little area for our archers to attack from. Further to that, though, we can go ahead and place in some merlons. Now, the problem with merlons is they do have that effect underneath, which doesn't exactly look right. Especially not here. Like that would look great if it was protruding like this. That looks perfect like that. But if that's just hovering, and to give you a view of what it would look like, it's just going to be sat there out in the open, and that doesn't look quite as good. Settlers are idle. Research is available. We can now research agriculture. Marvelous. Let's get that going. We don't need the tutorial for equipment again. Now then, where have we got a decent... Well, we've got a decent bit of land over there that we can use for farming, and perhaps we could then further expand out our walls, and so we'd have like the main keep, and then the outer grounds, but they would also be defended. Perhaps we would upgrade the main keep to have stone walls at some later stage. But for now, I think this is where we're going to be planting our fields. So we've got a bunch of different options. We've got the tree farm. We've got grass if we just need hay. We've got red currant bushes, herbs, which are used for medicine. Barley field, which is used for ale. The berries can also be used for wine. Beets, carrots, flax, which gives us cloth, and finally, cabbage fields. Now, most of them have a certain amount of, like they'll say, oh, you've got a certain amount of days, maximum yield in certain days once it's fully grown, so on and so forth. All of them have a minimal temperature that they can be sown at. Now, that temperature is a bit higher than the minimum temperature that they will grow at. They can be sown. Well, you have to have sown them at a higher temperature, and then the temperature can drop a couple more degrees, and they'll still grow to maturity and fruit. But if it drops significantly, i.e. winter, it'll just basically die. Bear that in mind, because winter can be harsh, and it does last a fair while, and there's not enough meat. I mean, there might be, but it depends on your area, I guess. But you are going to want to plan well ahead for that. And to that end, let's go ahead and start popping down some fields. We'll get some cabbage fields, some carrot fields, and some beet fields. There we go. We are going to want some red currant bushes. Now, these ones are reharvestable. There's a number of harvests you get out of them. Most of them don't have that. And some herbs as well. So there we are. That is probably more than enough for what we need. As long as you get that going soon, like in spring, if you get them sowed in spring, by winter you will have accumulated a lot of food, depending on how you store it. If you don't have a cellar, or you have a particularly bad summer with heat waves, then you may struggle with fields of this size. But I kind of feel that this suffers in the same way that Stonehearth does, is that once you've actually got some decent farming up and running, you're suddenly drowning in crops. The thing that this has that helps with that Stonehearth doesn't have is in winter, you really suffer with a lack of available food sources. So you can burn through those crops. But if you play sensibly, then you shouldn't really struggle too much with it, I don't think. Let's get some more trees chopped, though. I'm not going to build a tree farm just yet. I don't think we need that at this stage. But we're already getting some more research done. Excellent. And the fields are going down quite nicely. I think we've actually got a nice little start here. We haven't yet finished all of this, but we will get to that fairly soon. Let's see. Have we finished that beam? No, we haven't actually finished that one yet. We will get there, though. Let's see. Especially now that we've got all of this going. We will probably load these up with sticks ready, but we don't need to worry over much about this. We're basically going to burn bandit corpses. I don't think we need to worry about that one. Obviously, our own settlers will get graves, and proper marked graves as well, not just any old thing. In terms of meals, we're not doing too badly, though it is stews again, so we probably do want to get some meat. So how about we pop down 2 of you to be hunted? There we are. That should do okay. Manu, burning the midnight oil, I approve. Actually, the 1 a.m. oil. You went through the witching hour, studying all the way through the night. Interesting. We'll have to keep a look at the chronicles that Manu makes, see if there are any hexes, and if they are, congratulate them. Because again, remember where we are and what is on our flag. No. We honor the old ways. There we go. In fact, we honor the old gods quite brazenly. Nevertheless, well done, Belial. There we go. Got to hedge your bets, really. Okay, so with that all done, I think, our wood supplies are going to be used up there for now, but I think the last thing we're going to do in this episode, and indeed it is that time, I am sorry. I've been delaying it as much as I could, but there is a point where I have to say, yeah, it's time for me to go and do other things that I need to do, like feed my pets. We are going to just lay the groundwork for the final points of entry, and we'll have another one down here as well, just opposite the fields. I think that would actually work quite well. Let's pop those down. Now it's going to take a little while for us to get all this built, and whether or not we come back to see it all being built, well, then that is down to you. Once again, if you enjoyed this episode and would like to see this continue as a series, you know how to let me know. But in case you don't, because, well, that's kind of bold of me to assume, leave me a comment or a like on the video, and it will go a long way to helping see this become a regular feature on the channel. But that is going to be it from me. I really do hope you enjoyed. I hope to see you next time. But until then, and as always, do take care.